live. Okay. Put that off screen. Let's plug this phone in. Yep, okay. So we're doing this nonsense again. If you didn't see the title of the video. I just want to say at the beginning, I'm going to try to keep this in frame for the whole thing. I am expecting a phone call today that has not happened yet. I honestly don't expect it to happen until after the live stream is over, but I don't actually know for sure. So, excuse me. If I suddenly disappear, that's what that's about. I'm going to take the phone call now, depending on, like, if it happens early enough in the stream, I'll just come back. But if it happens later, I'll probably just end for the day. I don't know. Let's say if it happens after 2 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. That'll be the cutoff. That's halfway through the stream. That's an hour from now. It's currently 1:01 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. So if an hour from now, if the call comes while I'm on stream after 2 o'clock, I'm just not going to come back. If it happens before 2 o'clock, I will probably come back. And of course, we had that entire conversation before I let anyone know that I was here. So we'll probably just say it again, because why not? I'm going to go ahead and let the Discord folks know. Let's delete yesterday's. I'm going to work on the ASA. Probably don't make this blanket today, I think. I don't know. I've been feeling weird the last couple of days. Let me just type this out. I'm live and paste. Let's copy that. Yeah, so I don't know. I've been feeling not quite myself the last couple of days. I don't know if it's the weather. I don't know. I might be recovering from our trip still. I don't know what it is. But I kind of didn't feel like doing anything today. I did accomplish some things. But nowhere near what I had planned. But I'm calling it a win anyway. Because I did accomplish some things. What did I do? I cleaned a toilet. And took out some garbage. You know, I did some things. And now I gotta sneeze. Ow. Anyway, I got our box of 1 round squares here. Let's move some things around. I've got water and ice in my cup with some extra tap water on hand. Everyone remember to stay hydrated. I am currently streaming using my old phone. My active phone is right here, and I'm just going to double check that we are not in, no, okay, we're not in Do Not Disturb, so it might ring. Now, I'm only going to answer it if it is the call I'm waiting for. So, I don't know, if a family member's watching and wants to call as a prank, I'm not going to answer. And more likely, I'll probably get a scam call or two. We're not going to answer those either. The call display will come up with my doctor's name, which is why I'm keeping the phone out of the shot when it's not ringing, or when in case it might ring. Words that make sense. Oh, I should put the description in too. Let's do that. Copy, and where's the, there it is. Go to lives, go to this one, and that's yesterday's. Let's try again. It's like it's already there. That doesn't sound right. Go to live. Go to live. There it is. And paste. Save. There we go. Now we can crochet. Okay, so I think I've got 5 of these, so I could join them together. And I'm sorry about the bird noise. It's too hot to close the window. Hey, Patricia. My stuff's a little messed up here, so I'm just seeing this size. I've got those 3. I do have 4, but I think I didn't want to put the 2 blue ones together. So if we imagine those 3, I'm thinking a darker color for the 3rd one, or for the 4th one would be good. Although, yeah, it doesn't matter at this stage. So I'm thinking a darker color, and a darker color that's not blue or green. So I've got, what have I got? I've got like a dark purple, basically this color. And I've got like a dark pink, which any of the 5 could go in it. Got this sort of burgundy color. I wonder if it's enough. Let's get the scale out. I don't remember what we need for this size. 40 something, I want to say. Oh, I might not have enough. Let's actually find out. I think it was this one. Yeah, I need 44 grams, so that's not going to do it. Okay, so that question, this color's out, unless I've got more of it in here, which I don't appear to. All right, so I'm going to do this color, because then all 5 of them could go in. It's good to have options. Okay. So yeah, I'm expecting a call today from my doctor. If he calls before 2 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, which is halfway through the stream, I'll come back. And if he calls after, like we're putting the 1 hour mark into the stream as our cutoff time for coming back. So if he calls like now, I'll come back. If he calls after 2 o'clock, which is in just under an hour from now, I'll probably just call it for the day. So, so that's what's happening there. Okay, so I'm thinking I might save the blue for another time. Actually, is that what I want to do? I feel like that's not bad. I'll join with this. Like that. Go with the first instinct. Got a couple of yellows in there. Let's put them farther apart from each other. A couple of light blues. That's a bit, I don't like that. Let's do that. Okay. I'm gonna join with this, what color is this? Dahlia. I feel like that's a flower. But is it a pink flower? Ooh, the outside end has gotten tucked in again. Let's Pull that out. That's what that secondary yarn barf was about. So I was watching a video earlier before I came onto the live stream. It was about like journaling and stuff. It was a podcast, and they were talking about, is it possible to have too much journal, like too much stationery, right? And I was thinking about the idea, is it possible to have too much yarn? And I think that my answer might surprise people because, and this is the controversial idea of the day, I think there is absolutely such a thing as too much yarn. I'm just going to pause while you all pick your chairs up, or pick yourself up off the floor and steady your chairs again. I don't think that what I consider to be too much yarn is in anyone's stash right now, necessarily. I think there's a quantitative part of it. I don't think it's just, or not quantitative. I think there's a qualitative thing about it, not just quantitative, which means that it has less to do with how much yarn's in your stash and more to do with what kind of yarn is in your stash. Is it yarn you're going to use? And this is not necessarily that you have a plan for. Like, I've got a bunch of Bernat Premium yarn in my stash that I do not have a plan for, but I do know I'm going to use it. It's currently what I design with, right? If anything, it's going to end up in this blanket or something like it in the future. But I do have some yarn in my stash that I don't know. I feel like it's very unlikely I'm going to use it. It's a hard decision to make, right? You have to balance so many things, like how much storage space do you have? How much time do you have? So I do think there's such a thing as too much yarn. I think that number is different for everybody. And I think it will have a lot to do with factors outside of how many literal balls of yarn you have. If that makes sense? Yeah. But, sorry, I'm just remembering the time I was asking Ved, my partner, to help me figure out a fourth color to use in a blanket that I was making. And I told him what my plans were for the layout, and I told him all the other colors I was going to use. And we were standing in front of a 5x5 cubby calyx from IKEA, full of yarn, just full. I believe I had it stuffed in 2 balls deep, and like as much as I could put in all of them. And this man, who does not do any yarn crafts, stood in front of this giant display of yarn and said that I did not have enough yarn. Oh, we have a comment from Patricia. It is possible. I think my stash is exceeding my life expectancy right now. A nearby nursing home has asked for yarn, knitting and crochet supplies for the residents, even whips to be frogged. Yeah. When we moved across the country, oh, Patricia's contemplating trying to donate at least 10th of my supplies. I'm sure they would appreciate it a lot. So when we moved across the country from Ontario to Alberta, I had to be ruthless with my stash, although this offered us a very awkward chance to compare how much yarn I had compared to like all of the other stuff we had. Because Ved had this fantastic idea of like we were stacking up our boxes as we packed them in the spare room, and he was putting all of my craft supplies on one side and all of the rest of the stuff on the other. My side had my craft supplies was bigger. In my defense, yarn is very poofy. But I got rid of so much, and some of it, like I had a couple of people come over from my crochet guild to help me pack up the yarn, and they left with a lot, including some whips. Because there was some, I don't know, and I even, don't tell the yarn police this, but I even threw some out. It's like these were whips that were so old, they weren't very big, they were so old, and I knew the yarn wouldn't frog very well, and I knew I wasn't going to finish it, and nobody else was going to finish it, so it's like I cut it off of the ball of yarn and I threw it out. Patricia has the same problem with quilt supplies. Yeah. But from the beginning, I was not in favor of separating out yarn or the craft supplies from the regular stuff, the rest of our stuff, like our, clothes and furniture and dishes and stuff. I used to have a picture as my profile picture on Ravelry, a Ravatar, if you will. That's a picture of my dad's car back from the day that I had filled with boxes of yarn. I'm not sure you really it could tell what I was trying to do in that picture. Like I'm not sure you could really grasp the scale of the thing, but when I first really moved out of my parents' house, the yarn was its own trip, and I wasn't as prolific as I am today. Maybe that's why there was so much yarn, right? But I basically stuffed the station wagon full of boxes of yarn, and the neighbors were making comments as I kept putting more and more in there. And they're like, boy, you seem to have a lot of yarn. And it's like, yeah, there's a lot that didn't fit. A lot that didn't fit. But I did end up using it up. I still remember, I worked at a Michaels in Southern Ontario on the truck team, and we were putting out the Bernat satin, which was my favorite yarn at the time. And we had all the stuff that had come in. We put out as much as we could. We put the rest in overstock, and we just could not find places to put some of it. So I bought it. It's like, if I buy this, we don't have to find a place to put it. I used the last ball from that like a year or two ago. When did I moved to Alberta in 2015. So trying to think of when I was working at that store. It would have been in it was before I moved to Toronto. So the early aughts. Hey, Kate. We're talking about whether it's possible to have too much yarn. And I've come down on the side of yes. And now we're reminiscing about moving yarn and craft supplies. Yeah, oh gosh. Let's see. I lived in Cambridge and I moved to Cambridge in 2000. And I lived there for 5 years before I moved back to Hamilton. And then it was in that time that I was working at that Michaels. So 2005, 2006. So 20 years later, I'm remembering using the last ball from that maybe a year ago. 19 years. That, you know what? That happened before I met my spouse, who I've been together with for 19 years. So, oh dear. But yeah, now that my vacations are done and that I've recovered from the low iron thing and stuff, I really should get back to cleaning out the basement. And part of that is reorganizing the yarn. I have more yarn in there that is mine, that is mine, if that makes sense. I get a lot of chunky yarn from Project Linus to make hats with, loom hats with. Patricia says, I worked at Joann's at about the same time. Yeah, it's, I miss working at Michael's because I miss the employee discount. When I started working at Michael's, the employee discount was 25% off regular priced items. And I complained a lot about that because it's like, you know, teachers and seniors were getting a lower percent off, but it was on sale items too. Sales are not as good in Canada as they are in the US. Oh, hang on. Pookie. Wolfie is yowling and I don't know why. Pookie? There you are. Hi. Hi. You gonna come up? Oh, when in doubt, wash. Yeah, so it's 25% off of regular priced items, but nothing off of sale items. And it's like, well, the seniors and the teachers get discounts off of the sale items. And so then they changed it, and I think it's still 25%, but it's off of sale items too. It was so nice. I used to buy a lot of yarn for Project Linus. Like they would get cash donations, and I could always get the best bang for your buck. So I was getting a lot of the yarn. Okay. I gotta see what Wolfie's on about. Hang on. Wolfie? What's wrong? Hi. Okay. I have no idea what's up with her. She might be looking for her papa. He's not due home for another maybe hour. He changed his work schedule to be 6 to 2, which I'm still getting used to. He gets home very early is what I'm saying. He'll be he'll be home around the time where I'm going to cut off the stream if I get that phone call from my doctor. So that's another thing is if he decides to play a video game, I hope we don't get the sound down here because I don't want to get a copyright strike or anything. I'm not sure how that works. I've never had it. I really enjoyed working at Michael's though. I mean, it has the same problems as working retail anywhere does, but I don't know why can you hear her meowing? I suppose if you can't hear her meowing, you probably won't hear a video game playing. It's they're roughly in the same place and not as loud. She's not just meowing, she's yowling. I gave her some catnip earlier. She might be chasing a bug because she just ran. You can definitely hear her yelling. Yeah, she just ran up into the window above my desk. Oh, hi. Did you get it? Are you chasing something? Hi. Hi. Suddenly scritches. Okay. Your feet are cold, baby. Yeah, your feet are cold. Let's pull over so everyone can see you. Yeah. It might have been a bug, like a flying bug she saw. She sometimes makes that sound at it. Yeah. Are you getting belly rubs? Yeah, face smushes? Okay. Yeah, I got you. You okay? Yeah, you're okay. She's purring. Mama's purry baby. Can I get back? Oh, do you see the cat? She's looking at herself on the screen. Yeah, here. Let me put it on the big screen. You can see better. There you go. Where'd the kitty go? Where'd the kitty go? She getting even more vocal. No, she's getting more vocal. She has been this way since we got back from Nova Scotia. She seems to have forgiven us for leaving, but Yeah. She had kind of a health thing when we got home that we ended up having to fix that she got mad at me for doing because I had to take her to the vet. Um, but she's on a new diet food now and she loves it, even though the vet was saying it's like cats generally don't like this, so I hope it goes okay for you. Okay, you can't see me. I can't stand up because she's on my shoulder. So I'm experimenting with. Looks like it can come a little closer to. Experimenting with the where the phone stand should be. Am I even doing this right? I think so. That'll have to do for now. Okay, she needs some face mushes. Face mushes, yep, there you go. I got them. I got them. Where's the yarn? Oh, baby. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Why don't you go lie down, sweet pea? You go lie down? No? Okay. Guess now I can check this view. Except for she's in the way, so maybe not. Can I, no? Okay. Yeah, all right. Here, okay, you're caught up in the yarn. There you go. Trying to get this as high up as I can. Hi. Looking at everybody. Of course you are. This is Wolfie. If you're new here, this is Wolfie. She just turned 14 a couple weeks ago. She loves getting the base of her tail scratched. Can I get back to work? No? I'm going to refill my cup while I'm waiting for my desk space back. Hi. I'm going to say hello to everybody here. Let me move it back. Now that I've gotten the good framing, everyone look at my socks. Hey, Boo Bear. Anyway, what was I saying? Michael's. I enjoyed working at Michael's. Anybody who's not familiar with Michael's, it's a big box craft store in North America. Well, Canada and US anyway. And I enjoyed working there, not just for the employee discount, although that was the main reason, but also because I got to hear about everybody's projects, right? Somebody would come in looking for something and it's like, well, we don't have anything like by that name or that fits that description that you're giving me. What are you using it for? Maybe we have an alternate. I loved that question. There was a story going around, and I think it was about Joann's, where the person was coming in looking for some fur, and the employee asked, "Well, what are you making?" And then they looked embarrassed, and it's like, "Well, I wanted to make like a Yeti costume to wear when I go skiing to freak out my friends." It's like that's what you live for when you work in crafting retail. That kind of story. But like I remember once, it was just before Christmas, and a couple had come up with some. It was kind of an odd mix. They had watercolor paints, but also like canvases and stuff. And so I was talking to them about what they were planning to do with them because that seemed like an interesting combination. It's like, oh well, our daughter said she was interested in learning watercolor painting. So we thought we'd get her some stuff for Christmas, and I was like, okay, no, wait, hang on, no, we're not doing this. It says like you don't want canvas, you want watercolor paper, and if you can only get, like if your budget is small, spend it on the paper. right? Because you can do amazing things with crappy with crappy brushes and crappy watercolors if you have excellent paper, right? Um, so yeah, so I sent them back, and of course the really good paper pretty expensive. So I before I sent them back to the department with a like a floor associate, that's the word. Um, I told them to look up a coupon on the website. And it's like it's going to be regular price because that stuff's expensive and it never goes on sale. It's going to be regular price. You can use the coupon on it. Definitely spend on the paper. This is why craft stores should hire me and put me on the floor. I could have saved them a bunch of time by meeting them in the paint department before they got to cash, but anyway. I really loved working in the yarn department. At the one store, because I've worked at several different Michaels stores over the years, and I definitely had a favorite one. They had the biggest yarn department in Canada, and I got to spend so much time in there. That's when I got to get, they had t-shirts that we could order that had like a department name on it, an expert. So I got the Yarn Expert shirts. I think I still have some. But then I changed stores, and then I didn't know, it had been a while. I didn't know what yarns they were carrying. I wasn't as effective as like, you know what, you give me a couple weeks in that yarn department, I bet I can increase your sales. So it's like, yeah, we need a cashier more. It's like, don't think you do, but okay. I just want the discount. And to hear about people's projects, I can do that anywhere in the store. But I do miss that discount. I also miss seeing the new stuff come in. Like this, I especially got this when I was a floor associate. You'd be going around like making sure the store is tidy and stuff is where it belongs, and returning stuff to the shelves and whatever. And you know, you do that long enough, you start noticing the new stuff that comes in, and it's always so interesting. You also see when stuff goes on to clearance. No extra discount on that, but you know, you could grab it before it just got thrown out. Sorry, I was just checking my phone because I had a message and I didn't know what it was about. All right, so we have this size now. Let's get this out of the way. And we have our other 4. Let's make this, even though it's not really in your way, it's in mine. Thinking something like that. All right, I know you can't see the whole thing, but you can see kind of the edges. I think actually I'm going to turn this so the green is more in the middle that way. So I've got the blue, the orange, the multicolored, that's mostly green, and then that pink. And what do I have in this size? I've already got the, I think that's navy blue. And I've got a light purple. I think that's it. I mean, we could use any color, but if it's not one of those two, then it can go with those two with a 4th for the next size up, right? So, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? It could be light or dark because I got one of each already. What about yellow? Yellow, I got a gray that might work. Not blue. Oh, we don't want to use orange. Okay. Thinking yellow. It's the same yellow as that and that. But I think that would be okay. I mean, it's gonna happen, right? I do light blue. I feel like there's yarn missing. About that. It's not the same green as the edging on this one. I'm gonna go with that one. Okay, I'm gonna put these. Like that. There, in the order I'm going to join them, and they're all facing that way. What's everyone working on tonight? Or this afternoon, or this morning, depending on where you are in the world? You know, it just occurred to me, I'm actually waiting for 2 phone calls. The second one probably won't come till tomorrow, though. Oh, Kate's working on socks, of course, yes. Oh, I went to transfer the files, the pictures that I took yesterday on the stream to, I think it was yesterday. I hooked up my old phone to the computer to transfer the pictures over that I took, and it didn't work. So I didn't even remember that it didn't work until just before the stream, so I basically just emailed them to myself. So I have not updated the files I set up yet. As I said, I wasn't feeling it this morning or this afternoon. And I'm not sure what's going on. I really need to get back into my exercise routine. I was supposed to do cardio today. I suppose there's still time, but as I said, I think Ved will be home before I end the stream. And you know, I like him, so we should probably hang out or something. I don't know. I mean, even like getting back into the cardio, I'm gonna have to start pretty small anyway, so it wouldn't even take that long. I could do it before I go upstairs to hang out. Oh, I just noticed how this looks with the blue 1 round matching the blue edging. It's kind of a neat look. I don't do 1 rounds very often. Like not 1 round squares and not 1 round of edging. So Yeah, if I do cardio today, it would only be like 10 minutes. And the bike does 3-minute cool down, so it'd be like a 7-minute actual, oops, actual like exercise, and then 3 minutes of cool down. I've been at it for 2 or 3 months now. What have I been at? The exercise? Or what are we talking about? I started using the exercise by a couple of years ago. It's just I keep getting set back for various things. Oh, the one rounders. Only been at it for 2 or 3 months now. Yeah. There was a time where, like, I have some ASA designs that have 1 round squares in them. They're very old patterns. Like one of the twin blankets has 1 round squares in it. I stopped designing with 1 and 2 round squares because I'd gotten feedback from the testers that they're deeply unpopular. So I also have gotten feedback that anything bigger than 9 rounds is also a bit of a slog. So I've been trying to keep it in between, although since I started doing newborn blankets, I've reintroduced 2 round squares because it's a very small palette to play on. You know, it's a very small area to put a design in, so yeah. But, you know, you get those couple of yards left in your ball, it's gonna make a 1 round square. Then what do you do? You could just keep adding rounds, right? Like change colors every round for as long as you want to go, or as big as you want to go. You could do that. That's an option. There's so many ends to weave in. Although they make a yarn for that now. I have a review of that yarn. I think I determined that for me it made more sense to just weave in the ends than use the special yarn. I haven't done one yet, but I do my mini sock yarn squares as 2 rounds. Yeah, somebody else in the House Cup was doing that. I want to say it was Catalin or Fromage. One of those two. Making tons of 2 round squares. Well, you know, you could make a blanket like this with your 2 round squares as well, if you wanted to. But yeah, I remember in the old Craftster days, we would do swaps for 1 round granny squares. We called them Granny's Daughters. So when I first heard that, it was like, so moms? That, or aunties, I guess. But I just, I haven't done any. I still have them. I've got a box full of them somewhere. They moved with me across the country. Oh, they could go in this. They might not work with this. I'm going to say they're in worsted weight, but it would look better if it was more spread out. It'll go in the next one of these. How about that? Maybe on a stream I'll unbox them. We can look at them. Although I'll have a lot of ends to weave in because the rule for that swap was you had to weave in the beginning end, but you were supposed to leave a long end or finish end in case the person who received them wanted to use that end to sew them together. So they'll probably all have ends to weave in. Just one though. Is, I think I'm doing this right. Yeah. Be doing stained glass look bedspread. Yeah. So you're going to join with black then? I love joining with black. Although I did have to design an entire pattern just to use up all the scraps of black I ended up with because of my love of joining with black. Oh, that would be a funny way to end this blanket, is have the last join of the 4 massive panels be in black. That would be funny. I feel like I've done the math on how much yardage I would need for that. Let me just check. I thought I had it up. That's the 4. That's the 4s. That's the next one up. That's the one that I'm doing. That's it. I don't have the next one up. Although the size after this takes about a ball of the Bernat Premium, so maybe I won't join with black. Although I'm going to need 2 balls of something. And I'm off screen again. Oh, you know what I was planning on doing today that I didn't do? I was going to soak my shower stall. Well, it's okay. We have a combination shower bathtub in the upstairs bathroom, and when I was cleaning it the other day, I noticed there was a lot of like water scale on it. And normally, like when the shower head gets that way, I just soak it in a bucket that's got like vinegar in it. Works a treat. But I can't really soak walls that way. But then I thought, I can do it. When I do the taps on the bath, like on the vanities, I soak paper towels in the acid, like vinegar, and wrap it around the faucets and stuff to descale the bases of those. Works great. It's so dry here. I have to re-up, like every couple hours, go and just pour some more on to keep it wet. But it works for those. I don't see why it wouldn't work for the walls. And the moisture of the acid would just keep them on, like would stick them on long enough. Like 20 minutes or so, I think would go a long way. I was going to do that today. I even yesterday got some more citric acid out. We had acquired a very large bag of citric acid for something. And so we divided it into smaller portions and vacuum sealed them. And I used a lot of the citric acid we had in the kitchen for something else. I can't remember what. Anyway, I used a lot of it, so I had to refill it. And it's like, I hope you have more of this if I'm going to do the bathtub thing. And we do. Oh, I know why we got the citric acid. It's because when I was dyeing yarn in the kitchen, my partner didn't like the smell of the cooking vinegar. So we got some citric acid to try, and it's basically it's like granulated sugar. It's like that kind of texture. So you just mix a little bit into some water, and now you've got the same strength of vinegar of acid as like white vinegar is. So, and it doesn't smell as bad. So I hear. So that's why we got it, but I think the smallest we could get was like this massive bag. So it was like, well, let's just vacuum seal it up into smaller packages and use it up. I wonder if he remembers where we got it from, because I think I definitely saw one more vacuum seal bag in the bin that I took the one out yesterday of, but I feel like that might be the last one. So we're gonna need some more soon. I should get back into dyeing. There's so much fun thing you can do dyeing yarn, especially if you don't care about light fastness. I have a project on the go, a WIP, as you say, a work in progress, where I was hoping to do as many crafts with it as possible, because I started with some fleece that I dyed, and then I spun it, and I think I started crocheting with it. The plan was to crochet like a filet mesh, just an open filet mesh that was skinny, and then knit a ruffle scarf with it. Yeah. Is Papa not home yet? Well, he hasn't done work. He's not done work yet. Yeah. Do you want to go in the window? You could just go up there. Yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Okay. Are you Mama's sweet little girl? Yeah. Okay. Huh, kissed your nose. And your nose is wet. Blah. Blah. Yeah, here, let's move this over so you can see yourself on camera. There you go. Yeah. There's my baby. Yeah, do you see the kitty? Do you see the kitty? Yeah, that's you. Is that the top of your head? Yeah. Face mush. Face mush? No? Okay. Yeah. Hi. Did you know your mama loves you? Yes, I really, really do. But this isn't the greatest content for a live stream. No, I don't think that it is. Doo-be-doo-doo, doo-be-doo-doo. Hi. You gonna go lie down? Reach the end of your yarn ball. Ah. Time to start another one, or were you playing yarn chicken? I need the details. What just happened there? I don't know. Can I, oops. Let's move that back up there. I feel like, oh, I can do that. Trying to zoom out to get more in the shot. I was like, this is as far up as the stand will go, but I felt like I wasn't getting a lot of my desk. But it turns out I can zoom out. I feel like I've zoomed out too much now. Well, we learn something with every stream. Let's straighten out first. And zoom in just enough to get the floor out. Still feel like that's not straight, but nothing I can do about that right now. No, there really isn't anything I can do. Okay. You definitely want to go lay down. Okay, yeah, understandable. It's pretty late there, probably, right? What did we say? 8 hours away from me, so 10 o'clock at night? Yeah. Saw duct tape, something every crafter has to have handy. Yes, the duct tape is from my my April Fool's Day video from this year. Now it's keeping my measuring tape from rolling off my desk. Because my measuring tape is shaped like a ball of yarn. And it likes to roll around, so it sits in the duct tape. Ooh, dang it. Oh, is there anything over there that I don't want anyone to see? Hope not. It's mostly just a pile of swatches. Yeah, my April Fool's Day video this year was blocking using duct tape. Oh, now you can see my charging cable, all sorts of things since I zoomed out. Let's use this to, nope. There we go. April Fools, you know we have August already. Yeah, no, I just haven't cleaned it off my desk since April, is what I'm saying. I filmed it in March even, so it's even longer than that. I've been tired, and then I was busy, and then I was away, and now I'm busy again. I love April Fool's Day, though. I like to think of it as International Critical Thinking Skills Day. And I feel like I have a plan for next year already. Yeah. I keep a list because you know what happens? March comes and I have no ideas whatsoever. None. Not a single one. And then I'm kind of casting about trying to think of something. So now I keep a list. I remember one year I was visiting my family in Ontario and I was like, shoot, I haven't done my April Fool's Day video. What am I going to do? And it was my brother's idea to announce that I've started an OnlyFans account for my yarn. And it's like, well, how am I going to film that? I got to film something. And I found some lace in my mom's crafting stash, and I tucked it in around a ball of under the ball band of some yarn, and took some glamour shots on the hood of a car. It was really funny. At least I amused myself with it, and that's really all that matters. Oh, there was the time it was a tutorial for how to crochet with your feet. It was a crochet hack would double your speed. All right, so we're getting to the time where if my phone does ring from my doctor, I'm going to end the stream and I will see you on Monday. All right. But again, I don't think I'm going to get this call on the stream. I think it'll be an hour or two after the stream is over that I'll get the call. But just in case, we're now at that point where if he does call while I'm on stream, I'm going to leave and not come back. So I guess just in case, I mean, you guys all know, but just in case I do disappear, check the description for how to contact me, how to see my stuff, all of that good stuff. Oh yeah, and I still am looking for people to do the crochet speed test, which is linked in the description as well, under the mention in this video, and now I've mentioned it, so it makes sense. Does Germany have one time zone? I feel like it does. Canada has several. I want to say 6. Pacific Mountain, Central, Eastern, Atlantic, Newfoundland. Maybe it's just 5. Newfoundland's a half hour out. Too small for more than one. Yeah. Why do I think we have... No, that was... Hang on. Pacific Mountain, Central, Eastern, Atlantic, Newfoundland. That's 6. Right? Because I've started my hand again. That's 6. We've got CBC Radio here. That's the CBC is the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. They're taxpayer-funded media. Anyway, they have some shows that they run in every time zone at the same time. So like The Current starts at 8:30 a.m. no matter what time zone you're in, unless you're in Newfoundland, and then it's half an hour later. So The Current starts at 9 there. So it's like when you're listening to the CBC, it's always like, we'll be talking about that on Q at 10 a.m., 10:30 Newfoundland. Like, okay. Like, we're going to adjust the timing of the shows for everybody except for Newfoundland. You want to be in a half hour out, then all your stuff's going to be a half hour out. And I don't know if that's just in Newfoundland, because, okay, the province is Newfoundland and Labrador. And Labrador is basically the mainland, and Newfoundland is like, I think it's an island. It might be a peninsula, but I think it's an island. And it's basically a big rock. That's why they call it the Rock. So I don't know if the time zone is just for Newfoundland, which is the part that sticks out, or if it's also in Labrador. Yeah, it's an island. And fun fact about Newfoundland, but there is a ferry that you can take from Newfoundland to France. Specifically, the part of France that is Saint Pierre and Miquelon, which is just off of the southern coast of Newfoundland. Oh, bye, Kate. You're probably gone already, but bye anyway if you watch this again. What I need, you know what I need? I need a time zone map. Time zone map. Let's do just Canada, because I only care about Canada right at this second. Okay, Wikipedia, your picture's too small for me. Can I click on it? Okay. It looks like it's all of Newfoundland plus a little bit of Labrador. But then Labrador is also divided between using Atlantic Standard Time all year or switching to daylight savings time. And there's a part of Nunavut that's doesn't do daylight savings time, and it's not the northernmost point. Although I don't know how populated northern more of that is, but Iqaluit still does it. Oh, and they've already, well, that's interesting. Sorry, I'm just noticing because BC has changed. They're doing daylight savings time all year round, but this map is listing it instead of being in Pacific daylight time, they are listed as Mountain Standard Time, which is the time zone I'm in. So we are still an hour out right now, but when we change our clocks in the fall, we will be at the same time in BC as we are in Alberta. Oh, no, this is saying Alberta is going to Central Standard Time going forward. I didn't think that had passed. I know this is absolutely fascinating, especially since you can't see what I'm looking at, and I'm not doing anything anymore. um, okay, the Central Standard Time is UTC -6 year round, which is what we're currently in. I guess it's not called Mountain Daylight Time anymore. We are now in Central Standard Time or Alberta Time, which I'm not going to be calling it. Yeah, it says Alberta, where it is officially called Alberta Time and formerly known as Mountain Daylight Time. Saskatchewan. All of the province of Saskatchewan is in Central Standard Time, except for one area that's Central Daylight Time. Any guesses that that is the one on the border with Alberta? And oh, it's not. Wait, I want to look at this bigger, please. Central Standard Time. Oh, it is. Is it? No, it's a similar situation on the other side. Didn't I have a map up? This whole time zone thing is getting messy, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Quebec and Ontario, most of Ontario. I could have sworn we did not change we didn't change our time. We changed our time when we drove our truck. No, it was our car. When we drove our car from Southern Ontario to Alberta when we moved here, I was sure we changed our clock when we crossed into Manitoba, but that is not what this says. Maybe we just did it late. Oh, no, we did it after Thunder Bay. And Thunder Bay is not as close to the border as I thought it was. Okay. That's probably fine. I'm going to have to, okay, we'll have to see. I'm not going to make any grand pronouncements now because Alberta only switched to having the same time all the time after BC did. Like, I think we had a vote about it and I don't think it passed. But now that BC has chosen a time zone to stay in, Alberta decided to as well. And apparently we chose Saskatchewan time, which is Central Time. But Ontario's still going back and forth. They're still doing their clock switching, although they still have a few months to not continue doing that. They could just stay in daylight time if they wanted. Hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on. I got my way. If this map on Wikipedia is correct, I actually got what I wanted to happen. What I wanted to happen wasn't an option on the referendum we had about it. I think it was keep doing the switching or to go to standard time all the time. I did vote for whatever the one was that, let's not keep switching, because daylight saving time, switching our clocks around doesn't make any sense, and it actually is bad for us as a species, as a people, for our health, for everything. It's bad for us to do it. And I thought staying in daylight time would be nicer. And it looks like that's what we did. I'm pretty sure that wasn't the option on the question, though. It really should have been two questions. Do you want to stop switching your clocks twice a year? Should have been one question. And then if we did stop changing our clocks twice a year, would you prefer standard or daylight time? That's what it should have been. That's not what it was. Huh. I'm sure that this messy map I'm looking at is temporary. BC was the first province to get really brave about the idea of giving up all this switching. And then after they did, all it took was one, and a bunch of other places are like, yeah, we're not going to switch our clocks anymore either. So, did you know that after a time change like that, like when you switch your clocks just for going into or out of daylight saving time, fatal car accidents increase by 6%. Heart attacks go up like, I want to say 20 something, low 24 maybe percent. It's bad for us. It's basically minor jet lag for everyone. I saw a video recently where they said, a lot of people think that we were changing our clocks for the farmers. And it's just like, no, cows don't care what your clock says. I mean, that's always the reasoning I heard behind why Saskatchewan didn't do the time switching, is because of the farmers. It's better. Then again, I learned that from Corner Gas, so I don't know. It sounded true, and I try not to think things are true just because they sound true. Because I've often said there's no such thing as common sense, and I still stand by that, but I think that smaller groups of people can have sense in common, and I think it's not, common sense isn't necessarily good sense. You know? There's a word for it that I always forgot, and then I made a note for. It's like naive realism. Naive realism is thinking that your senses are all you need to understand the world around you. Your senses do just fine for a great deal of things that we interact with, but not for everything. lots of things turn out to be quite counterintuitive. Patricia says, my grandfather farmed his whole life. He worked with the sun. The only time he scheduled things by the clocks. I'm assuming there's another message coming. Probably for like appointments in town, right? I hear a lot of stories from my partner's family about, I want to say calving season, where basically they needed someone, like a human had to be awake and hanging out with the cows in case one of them went into labor and was having problems or whatever. So there's a recent story I heard from that side of the family talking about when my partner was handing off, you know, the supervising duty to his mom. He was telling her, like, watch, there's going to be there's a comet tonight. Because they were basically up all night and they had a great view of the sky. Was coming. The only thing he scheduled things by the clock was coming in for lunch so he could watch his soap opera and Sunday and Wednesday for church. Yeah. Yeah, that was my first experience with a different timing for church too, was when I met my partner and was visiting his parents out on the ranch. Because I grew up where church was on Sunday morning, right? That's when the church service was. That's what all of the churches that I knew of were doing, you know, all the Christian churches. And then I go and visit his parents, who are very religious, and church was at like 2 p.m. And it's a movable thing based on what farming season it is. I think that makes a certain amount of sense. All right, so that's joined together. Everyone remember to stay hydrated. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I don't need the map anymore. I'm going to do a inventory. That's the word I want. Start at the smallest. Just gonna make some piles of 5. So I've got 30 in there. 35, 36, 37, 38. Okay. I've probably buried it, yeah. I believe I've only got one of these now. And somehow that's what the spreadsheet says. All right, next size up, I have none? No, I have one. I have one of those. And let's get that out of the way. I have 1, 2, here's the one I just made, there it is. 3 of these. I have 1 of those and 0 of those. Oh, I'm so close. Well, this is just counting the 1 rounds. I'm pretty sure. E8, what's E8? Yep. I have made, I'm so close. I'm at 49.4% of the number of the 1 round squares I need to make. Not of the whole thing, but we're getting close to halfway on the whole thing too, because there's 3 of this size, so I need to make 3 more of these, join them together, and then I can join this stack together, then I'll be at halfway. Off the top of my head, I can't think of how I could put that in my spreadsheet. I'd have to, I don't know, estimate the yardage? I could do it by ends. Ends would be more accurate. Let me change your view. I'll make that bigger. It's as big as I can make it. Let's get that out of the way. So dang it. I just put the stack of squares in the bin that had the yarn in it, and it just fell over, so. I can't tell if it's my screen or if it's maybe my old phone has got some debris on the camera, but the whole thing looks very misty to me. Anyway. Okay, I am going to insert to the left, right? No, that's not what I want to do. Okay, made. So this is 1 rounds. And then this will be ends. What is this? Oh, that's how many more I need to make. I'm going to, can I? Let's put that there. Okay, so the number of ends is going to be equal to the number made times I have a better idea. Do I have a better idea? No, I do not have a better idea. Okay, so the number I have made times the number of ends. I'm just going to get rid of these. And then I'm going to want, oh, I didn't want it one more. Then I'm going to do equals F2 to F7, sure. And then we're going to do equals that divided by that. That'll be closer. Oh, 48% done. I'm going to change both of these to percentages. There we go. And I might as well do a how many left to do. So equals this minus this. Oh, and I think my partner is home from work. Let me just make sure my doors are closed for sound. Yeah, okay. All right, while I was standing up, I picked my box up. Luckily, because I put those squares I made on top of the box of yarn, when it flipped over, none of the yarn fell out. All right, so this is our state. I have 49% of the 1 round squares made, and I am 48% done weaving in ends. I think that's the best we can do. All right, let's see if we can get that to 50, huh? Okay. I don't want to convert it to a table. All right. So we've got that. And we have these. Let's move up a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of all the duplicates. See what we have left. I like that better. I'm going to join with, what have I got down here? I want to do green. I'm going to use this again, actually. Because after that, I think I'm going to join these. I'm going to make some squares out of this because I don't have any of this in this color in the 1 rounds. And then I'll rewind the ball, I think is what I'm going to do. Anyone have plans for the weekend? I don't think I do. Yeah, I got nothing. The only thing on my calendar for this month is the call I'm expecting today. It's early yet, though. I said I was going to join and then make 1 rounds, and then my hands just went ahead and made a run round, so I guess we'll break it up a little. I'm paying attention, it's fine. Okay, let's actually join these now. Move you over so I can see you better. There we go. I remember at my grandparents' house, they had like a really long, skinny property, and my grandfather would be working out in the back often, I guess. And so my grandmother had, like, you know those old car horns, like the black rubber bulb, and it was a kind of a sound. She had one of those, so she would just honk that when it was time to come in to eat something. And then she went ahead and used that. Oops, sorry, that's probably really loud. She used that also when the grandkids were visiting and we were all playing out in the backyard because it was a very long yard, long and skinny. So when it was time for a snack, she's like, go honk the horn. Take that from here. Participants? Does that give me? Me. That's not useful. I usually do a Zoom call with friends on Saturday. One of them went to I can't remember the name of the festival she went to. It's gonna bug me, so I'm looking it up right now. When was that? Probably this one. Nope, that's not it. Webb's. She went to Webb's last weekend, so looking forward to hearing how that went. I thought about going to Webb's back when I lived in Southern Ontario because it was fairly close as far as these things go, but it's way too far away now. Yeah. Friday is my day to run errands because Ved works from home, so I have the truck all day. I have a prescription I gotta pick up and do some grocery shopping. Might get some yarn too. I was just looking over at my stash and I'm low on like the cooler colors. Green, blue, and purple. And I always check to see if they've restocked the black so I can get more joining yarn because I really do like joining with black. It looks so great. I wonder where Wolfie ended up. If she's upstairs, she'll be with her papa. I hope so. She's not in the window. Ah, yeah. Oh, you know where I haven't been in a while? That craft supply thrift store. Thrift store. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow too. Ah, speaking of, they were going to start offering crafting classes there for the May long weekend, and I was going to be away, so I'd sort of put it on the back burner. But they threw me off a little when they asked how much I was going to charge. It's like, I've been out of the game too long. I don't even know what's reasonable. I wasn't even thinking of charging. Because the way I figure it, the more crocheters there are, the more customers there are for my patterns. Still, though. Maybe I could do free beginner classes. If anyone wants to learn any more advanced stuff, then that would take more preparation on my part anyway, depending on what it is. I don't know. Do they offer crochet classes where you guys are? How much do they check? I should do some research is what I should do. I'm sure there are places around town that are offering them. I might have to compare to knitting classes too. Because, well, I don't know. I've been out of the game long enough that maybe the knitting bias is not as pronounced anymore. Oh, sorry, just reading your comment again about coming in for the soap opera. I remember when I go to my other grandparents' house, my grandmother watched Coronation Street religiously, and we weren't even allowed to breathe when that show was on. Right? It's like we got to go outside and we need to play quietly while Grandma's show is on. I can't believe that show's still going. When I'm watching Murdoch Mysteries, I get ads for Coronation Street. And it's like, oh, reminds me of my grandma every time. And it's funny, I've never seen the show. She was so intense about it, I think I was unsure of my ability to stay quiet for the whole thing, so I think I just opted out. I've never watched it. I should start reading a book. I feel like I put a bunch of my I put all my to be read pile aside for all these trips, but we're back now. Um, and I picked up some new ones to add to the list since I stopped reading. Like crap. So let me just check your library. Does it show any of our things? No. Audiobooks. Not started. The Penguin Book of Cults. Prequel. The Suggestible Brain. Oh, Why We Talk Funny. I'm looking forward to that. Oh, Project Hail Mary. I don't know why Old Man's War is on there. It says not started, but I've listened to it recently, so. I might listen to Why We Talk Funny next. I feel like I'm missing some books though, because I probably did start them and then decided, I don't have time for this, and I'll start it again. Keep hitting enter instead backspace. Been there. Oh, there's a new urban college where they where I live, they teach all kinds of skills to inner city kids. There's a high-end yarn shop that has lessons. Can't afford anything there. Yeah. Most of the teaching I've done has been for free. I did teach at Michael's for a little bit, where I was paid, but like I taught at the Crochet Guilds and I taught at the Creative Festival, and the classes we offered at the Creative Festival paid for our booth, right? So uh, and of course I can't teach how to crochet the way I want to teach how to crochet. People wouldn't stick with it. It's probably not the best way to start anyway, but I think it would be interesting to teach someone how to crochet by skipping the working into the base chain when you start and leave that for like the second lesson. But people tend to want one-offs, so it's just it's an extra complexity added on top of already not having the muscle memory and all of that. I got my basic skills from grandmother 60 years ago. I went to some classes at a yarn shop in Arizona. I've learned and refined skills with YouTube. Yeah. My mom crocheted before I was born, but by the time I was old enough to ask her to teach me how, she had forgotten how. And I didn't know even where to look for someone to teach me how. I was hoping a friend's mother could, but we never were able to set that up. And as I got older and I started learning about yarn shops, they only had knitting classes and, you know, standard stuff like that. So I actually learned from a CD-ROM that I bought from Michael's that had videos in it. That was before YouTube was a thing. I learned a lot from watching YouTube videos. When I worked at the Internet Archive, there wasn't a ton to do with your eyes. So most people were watching YouTube while they were scanning books. And my computer didn't have sound, but that didn't bother me. I was just watching the videos without sound, and I learned a lot from that. And then I think I made the most gains when I was in the Crochet Guild. Not because I learned a lot from them, but because I think I was exposed to more people who were crocheting, and they would come to me, it's like, do you know how to do this stitch? I was like, not offhand, but I can figure it out. And so we'd figure it out. And I was always bringing in, it's like, does anybody here know how to do bullion stitches? It's like, no. It's like, there's got to be a way, because I found them kind of annoying to do, but I found a video that was showing some hacks on how to do it, and so I was sharing it with everybody. I did a lot of experimenting during that time. But I feel like I don't watch a lot of crochet content now. Probably should look some things up. Every now and again I go looking and don't find anything particularly interesting. But I don't think the algorithm works very well for me. That's why I don't get very well targeted ads when I get ads. But for the longest time, the all the notifications I was getting on YouTube were to my own videos. It'd be like 2 days later and I'd get a notification saying, hey, you might be interested in this how to make a hat on a loom video. And it's like, well, yeah, because I made the video. You're recommending my own video to me. I'm logged in as me. It's very bizarre. It's never recommended to me any of the videos that are private that you can only look at, you get the link to them in a pattern, right? Like the Jacob's mandala pattern, I made a video for every row, plus the extra like laddering up steps. And I just mentioned it, so I should put it in the description. Gotta go find it first. Channel content. No, that's not what I want. Go back. What I need is Ravelry. Ravelry. Nope, not this one though. Ravelry. This one. It's probably at the end. No, I forgot I've added a new page since I released that pattern this week. Jacob's mandala, where are you? What order is this in? This is by date available. No, I want name from this end. Yes, Jacob's mandala. There it is. Copy link. Mentioned in this video. Jacob's mandala. We did this as a crochet along. And I made a video for every row and a couple extras for different steps. Here's the link in the chat as well. That took a very long time. I never got any notifications for those, and you think, I mean, I know they were private, but again, I was logged in as Fantastic Mio, so it could have. I can see them. Although maybe not through YouTube. I might have to go through Studio. That's a good question. Something I might look up later if I remember. Just gonna weave in these last two ends. And you see what I did here? I made 4 in the join color, so I don't have to update the spreadsheet. I'll update to say that I made one of these, but I don't have to change the number of 1 rounds because I took 4 out, and then I'm putting 4 in. At some point, it's not going to make sense to do that, but we are nowhere near that point right now. I still have over 500 1-round squares to make. It's almost time to sort my ends again. I really need to figure out if I can spin these, because there's no point in keeping them. I don't know. I don't think. Oh, maybe there is. It's like, if I can't spin them, what am I going to do with all these ends I've saved and sorted by color? They're acrylic, so it's not like I can felt them into something. It's an awful lot of tweed. I somehow work them into something, but oh, maybe that's something I can play with this weekend when I'm resting from doing whatever else I got going on. Okay. I'm gonna see how this changes anything. Those can just go in because we don't need to update that. Just leave that out of the way. Oh, we'll bring that up. Go to the tracking spreadsheet. There you are. We're going to change that 1 to 2. Yeah. I'm getting close to the halfway mark. I'm at 49.8% of the 1 round squares, and I'm at 48.7% on ends to weave in. So, yeah. So I've made 510 1 round squares, and I still need 514. So 2 more squares would be that. Yeah, I got to do it. I'm just going to do 2 more squares. I got to do it. I don't know. What color? I'm indecisive. Purple. I'm going to take 2 more just to get to the halfway on the 1 rounds. Why not? Where's the end? There it is. And as I suspected, and as I say this, they'll probably have my phone ring. Yeah, as I suspected, no phone call during the stream. I suppose we do still have 8 minutes left. Well, 7. You know what I should do this weekend? Is my crochet speed test. Because I wanted to add my data to it. Just to be able to compare. I'm hoping from the crochet speed test data to get an idea of my crochet speed compared to my testers slash customers slash friends crochet speeds, so that I can have better estimates on how long to set a test for, and also how much of a head start I need to have on various holidays that I have patterns for, right? Like the other day I was, well, actually no, on Ravelry right now, if you go to like the Big 6 or certain groups, you'll see an ad at the bottom for my Christmas patterns. Mostly because the ASA Tree Queen is quite a large blanket, and there are going to be some crocheters who need the lead time, right? But like I have a Halloween pattern that's, you know, it's kind of lapgan size, like large lapgan size, and you know, you don't need as much of a runway to make that before Halloween comes. So I am advertising Christmas patterns before the Halloween pattern. In fact, I was planning on advertising both of them on Ravelry, but you can only have 2 small group ads running. So I decided to go with Halloween, just because I found some Halloween groups on Ravelry. But I've got the Christmas ones running in the Big 6. But like, you need lead time, right? Like not just the time to make the pattern, but also to acquire the yarn or anything else you might be doing. So I am flailing about and guessing right now, and I thought, you know, I don't need to live this way. I could just get some data. And that's what the crochet speed test is about. So please, if you're watching this now, or if you're watching it in the VOD, check the description. It's just a Google form. All you have to do is to make at least 1 granny square. You can choose the size. It's just if you're going to make multiple granny squares for the speed test, which I recommend, but you don't have to, they have to all be the same number of rounds. So you would time yourself crocheting your granny squares, and then you would separately time how long it takes you to weave in the ends. and then just fill all that information into the Google form, and I'll do the number crunching on my end. But the more data I get, the more accurate it should be, because lots of data can compensate for outliers, right? Like if I was watching this video of someone else asking for this, I would want to know if they would even appreciate an outlier who's fast in their data before I would do it. So I guess what I'm saying is, yes, I want everybody who can and who wants to, I would love you to do the crochet speed test. If you complete the whole form, then I will contact you and ask you which one of my patterns you would like to receive for free. It can be a pattern I've already released, or it can be one that's in testing right now. I do have, I use my ear burn list to make notes about sending patterns to testers if they've requested one that's not ready yet. And then I just send it out on release day. That's the same for any test, actually. If you test any of my patterns, you always get the pattern you tested plus one other of your choice. It can be one that's not out yet. I do have a useful note-taking strategy for that. And I don't believe I've missed any. I feel like someone should have complained by now if I did, but my testers are awfully polite. But yeah, check out, if you've got some time and you've got some granny squares you need to make, do the crochet test. If you don't think you have any granny squares you need to make, I have several free patterns that use granny squares of all different sizes, including the Ultimate Scrap Can, which does have 1 round squares in it as written. However, you do not have to put them in if you don't want to. Let's go with name. What page would you be on? 4? Nope. 5? I have so many ASA. There it is. The Ultimate Scrap Can. Copy link. It's in the chat now. And Ultimate Scrap Can. The way the Ultimate Scrap Can is designed is that each size of square is in a row. So you have a row of 5 round squares, and then a row of 4 round squares, and then a row of 3 round squares. You can just take out a row if you don't want to do that size, or if you don't need it to be that long. You can also add in rows if you want it to be longer, say. 2. All right, let's update our spreadsheet. Where did it go? It's over here. I'm going to add 2, so now I have 41 rounds. And I'm at 50% of the 1 rounds. I'm at 48.86% of the ends to weave in. So we should hit the 50% mark on this blanket pretty soon. But we have half of the 1 rounds done. Woo! And it's 3 o'clock now, so I think we're going to call it there. I will be back on Monday. I stream on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. in Alberta time, I guess it's called now, also known as Central Standard Time or Mountain Daylight Time. That's not confusing. Just go to your favorite search engine and ask what time it is in Calgary. But we're -6. We're UTC -6. So, what was I saying? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. in UTC -6. and on Thursdays from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And you can go into the comments, or sorry, not the comments, go in the description or a bunch of links on where you can find me. If you want to get notifications, go to my Discord channel. When you join it, you will go to the rules and click on the cat, and then you'll get a notification there when I go live, or you can follow me on Blue Sky or Hey.cafe. Links are in the description. You can find my patterns, Ravelry and Payhip and Lovecrafts. And please do the crochet speed test. Right. So I'll see you guys on Monday, and thank you so much for watching.